I have lived in Kingston for 10 years. I live downtown, I work downtown, I do most, if not all of my shopping downtown. And I spend a lot of time on the streets, running into friends, but also talking to a lot of the people that you would see on the streets that this bylaw is specifically targeting. This bylaw states that it's not going to be implemented until May 2024. In speaking to people some of whom have been permitted to stay on the streets of downtown, this bylaw is already being implemented. You might have noticed walking down the streets have been swept clean of people, and people have been told to leave. So, I have a question about what does that say about the due process that's even indicated in the bylaw itself. I genuinely have a question about that. After sitting and speaking with folks, I learned that the bylaw officers have been telling people that a new law has been passed by City Council. You are no longer allowed to sit on the sidewalk because customers are afraid of you, you are threatening, and you have to leave now. These folks are some of the kindest, friendliest, and most generous people I have ever met in Kingston. They endure much verbal abuse from customers on a daily basis, and yet they keep a smile on their face and they greet every passerby saying, "How are you? I hope you're well. Have a nice day," even if that person yells obscenities at them. There are a number of people that I haven't seen in a few weeks, and I don't know when or if I will ever see them again because they've been bullied out of downtown by bylaw officers. I often chat with people on the street. Doesn't matter if they're sitting panhandling or chatting with friends. Doesn't matter their socioeconomic status. Those of us who live downtown, who work downtown, and shop downtown, we check in with each other. And I find it very disturbing that because of this bylaw, there are members of my community that I may never see again. I may never encounter them downtown. For me, the health, safety, and well-being of myself and my community is dependent on feeling connected, seeing people that I know in the streets, and having vibrant human experiences in the downtown. And this bylaw seeks to remove some of those people from my life completely. I have a short story to demonstrate. I met someone who loitered downtown. We would chat on the street, now an activity that is no longer permitted by this bylaw. This man is an Indigenous elder and a brilliant man. If he worked in academia, an institution, he would be considered an archivist, a researcher, a cultural leader, an anthropologist. But he provides his wisdom and expertise outside of an institution and to his community for free. Over the years, we would encounter each other on the street and check in with each other and speak about his job prospects. He was always looking for a job. And I would coach him and offer him resources, and we would talk about, he would say, "I would take any job, it doesn't matter." But I was like, no, you are actually worth something a lot more than just working at McDonald's. You can actually do something really profound for this community. After many, many years and many interactions, now he's working as an elder in a government institution, and he's serving Indigenous men and sharing his cultural teachings and his knowledge. Under this new bylaw, I don't know if he and I would have had those interactions. I don't know if I would have been able to check in with him, offer him resources, coaching, those kinds of things, and I certainly never would have witnessed his growth over the years. This bylaw is not being applied uniformly, and it will not be applied uniformly if approved. This bylaw is already varying wildly in how it's enforced based on people's socioeconomic class. I do wonder, will tourists in downtown Kingston be told to move along if they're sitting enjoying a coffee, a croissant? Will myself and my friends, when we stop to chat on street corners, be asked by bylaw officers to move along because we're loitering on the sidewalk? Maybe we will, but maybe we won't because we have nicer clothes and we have a safe place to sleep at night. This bylaw is called the Community Standards Bylaw, but to be honest, it's a code of conduct for street folks and unhoused folks. This bylaw that knowingly targets our most vulnerable members in our community. I urge you to reject this bylaw. City Council is being told that downtown businesses are struggling. I'm sure that that's true. We've all been feeling the pressures of inflation, economic recession, and corporate greed.
30 seconds.
But bullying people out of the downtown space, a public space, is not going to help downtown businesses. You are an intelligent, capable city council. I know that you can come up with a more comprehensive solution to address our economic and housing crises in this city than to force people out of the downtown core. You're better than this bylaw. Prove to us that you are more intelligent than this bylaw, that you're more strategic than this bylaw. Reject this bylaw and come up with something that is worthy of a worthy solution of you and our community.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Councillor Sanik.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thanks so much for your delegation. What streets were you referring to where you heard the bylaw officers say to people, like, move along, move along? Was that Princess Street or what streets?
Yeah, Princess, and then some of the side streets, Bagot, Wellington, Montreal, yeah. And then I'm not sure about Barrie or things like that, but I've noticed that all the people at Clergy and Princess are gone. There's no people there anymore.
Thanks for sharing that.